death and destruction. Former President Joe Biden diagnosed with an aggressive form of prostate cancer, just as Republicans in Washington charge ahead with a plan to slash $1 trillion from Medicaid and food stamps to fund massive tax cuts for the wealthiest Americans. Welcome to the No Spin Zone. Graphs Grievances starts right now. Before we dive in, I just want to say it is so good to be back after an extended break. There's truly nothing I enjoy more than creating these videos and sharing this space with you. And now you can support my work as an independent journalist via Venmo. The link is in the description below. But now, let's get to the news. At 3:54 p.m. Sunday, a bombshell statement dropped from the office of former President Joe Biden. It announced that he was diagnosed on Friday with an aggressive form of prostate cancer that has already spread to his bones. The statement said that 82-year-old Biden and his family are currently reviewing treatment options with his doctors. According to prostate cancer experts, the diagnosis is extremely serious. Once prostate cancer spreads to the bones, as it often does, it is no longer curable. This morning, Biden posted this photo on social media alongside Dr. Jill Biden, accompanied by a statement, quote, "Cancer touches all of us. Like so many of you, Jill and I have learned that we are strongest in the broken places. Thank you for lifting us up with love and support." The deeply upsetting news sparked bipartisan support. Even President Donald Trump and far-right Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene offering kind words. Former Presidents Barack Obama, Bill Clinton, and former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, along with virtually every major Democratic leader, also extending their prayers and support. All of this comes as a new book by CNN's Jake Tapper and Axios' Alex Thompson accuses Biden's team of covering up his physical and mental decline during his presidency. The book, titled Original Sin, out May 20th, claims that for over a year and a half, Biden's aides scrambled to support an increasingly exhausted and confused president. The result, they say, a damning blow-by-blow account of how those closest to Biden enabled an aging president's determined bid for re-election. Now, I haven't read the full book yet, but the excerpts feel cherry-picked. They focus on moments when Biden was clearly off his game and probably shouldn't have been out in public. One highlighted example is a Hollywood fundraiser with Obama and George Clooney, where Biden reportedly looked exhausted and, according to Clooney, didn't remember his name. Well, George, maybe you're just not as famous as you think you are. But here's the context. Biden had just flown across 9 time zones, from Italy to Southern California, before attending the fundraiser, which raised more than $30 million. Yes, we all know Biden is old. He jokes about it constantly. And no, he's never been a naturally eloquent speaker. Just go back and watch his interviews over the past 5 decades. That's who he's always been. The book also zeroes in on the disastrous June 27th debate against Trump. Biden's halting, at times incoherent performance ultimately led him to stepping out of the race. That said, it's important context that Biden was again sick and jet-lagged after back-to-back international trips to France, California, and Italy in the days before, with stops in Delaware and Camp David thrown in. So maybe the real question becomes, why was Biden's team scheduling him like he was a 40-year-old athlete instead of an 82-year-old man? Despite all of that, President Biden accomplished more in 4 years than most presidents do in 8. he led the strongest post-pandemic recovery in the world, creating over 16 million new jobs and creating an unemployment rate below 4% for a record stretch. He passed the American Rescue Plan, cutting child poverty to record lows and triggering the largest small business boom in U.S. history. Biden's bipartisan infrastructure law launched tens of thousands of projects to rebuild roads, bridges, and clean water systems. Biden's clean energy investments ignited booms in solar, wind, and EV industries. He capped insulin at $35 for seniors, expanded veterans' benefits through the PACT Act, and brought the uninsured rate to an all-time low. On the world stage, Biden revitalized NATO and united allies to support Ukraine against Russian aggression. I could go on, but the point is this. President Biden is the most accomplished president in a century, despite the attacks on him and his age, which is why it's so disheartening to see 2028 Democratic hopefuls throwing Biden under the bus just months after backing his re-election, and now trying to rebrand themselves as so-called truth tellers of what really happened in 2024. But maybe since Kamala Harris lost to Donald Trump, you should look at her campaign or someone else, not Joe Biden for Trump's win. Don't forget, Biden beat Trump by over 7 million votes in 2020, receiving more votes than any presidential candidate in American history. Biden made Trump the first incumbent to lose re-election since 1992. And I'm not just saying all of this because I deeply admire Joe Biden, though I do. I'm saying this because if Democrats blame Biden for 2024, instead of learning from his strengths, they're going to lose again. Instead of tearing him down, Democrats should study what made Biden resonate with millions of voters, especially those who didn't turn out for Kamala Harris or Hillary Clinton. Just like Republican elites tried to cast Trump aside after his 34 felony convictions, only to see GOP voters renominate him and then send him back to the White House in 2024, Democrats might be misreading the moment. And while Democrats spiral, Republicans are this close to passing Trump's big, beautiful bill, a budget that cuts Medicaid and food stamps by $1 trillion to give another round of massive tax breaks to billionaires. Late Sunday night, the House Budget Committee quietly brought the bill back from the dead. A few so-called fiscal conservatives caved, letting it advance, even though it adds $3.3 trillion to the deficit over 10 years. So what exactly is in the bill? Permanent tax cuts for the rich, no taxes on tips or overtime, more spending on the military and immigration enforcement. And how do they pay for it? Deep cuts to Medicaid, food stamps, education, and clean energy programs. Things regular people rely on every day. According to the Congressional Budget Office, 7.6 million people will lose their health insurance. Another 3 million will be kicked off food assistance. Let's be clear, this isn't about fiscal responsibility. This is about dismantling the social safety net to bankroll tax cuts for billionaires. And if Democrats don't snap out of their post-2024 finger pointing and start fighting back, this thing could actually pass. Thank you for watching Graf's Grievances. Let me know what you think in the comments. Please consider supporting my channel via the Venmo link below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and join me tomorrow for more.